Well, today, on day 126 of our journey through the Bible, we begin our 26th week, and we'll be looking this week at 7 minor prophets. We'll look at the prophets Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, and Zephaniah, these 4 men who lived during the time when the southern kingdom and the northern kingdom were in chaos, as well as 3 other prophets as well. Micah was a younger contemporary of the great prophet Isaiah from a town in southern Judah. His prophecy reveals his farming background. He uses a lot of imagery from that country life. Micah spoke out strongly against those who claimed to be prophets of the Lord, but who used his position to lead the people of Judah into false hopes and to further errors. In Micah chapter 3, verse 6, he says, "Therefore it shall be night to you, without vision, and darkness to you. Without divination, the sun shall go down on the prophets, and the day shall be black over them." Micah's love for God would not allow him to offer false hopes to those who were under his sentence of judgment. Little else is really known about this courageous spokesman for the Lord. He tells us in his book that he prophesied during the reigns of 3 kings in Judah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. Micah condemns the rich because of their exploitation of the poor. He thunders in chapter 6, verse 8. "He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God." This is one of the great passages of the Old Testament, and it expresses a timeless truth that real worship always consists of following God's will and dealing justly with other people. The greatest promise in the book of prophecy is the birth of Messiah. It's mentioned in chapter 5, verse 2. "But you, O Bethlehem Ephrathah, who are too little to be among the clans of Judah, from you shall come forth for me one who is to be the ruler in Israel, whose coming forth is from of old, from ancient days." This messianic verse is stunning in its accuracy because it names the specific town where the Messiah was to be born, the village of Bethlehem in the territory of the tribe of Judah. This prophecy would be fulfilled about 700 years after Micah's time with the birth of Jesus in Bethlehem. Now, we also want to call your attention to the prophet Nahum. He pronounced God's judgment against the mighty nation of Assyria. He lived shortly before 612 BC, the year when Assyria's capital city, Nineveh, was destroyed by the Babylonians. Nahum announced that the judgment of God would soon be visited upon this pagan city. His prophetic writing is one of the most colorful in all the Old Testament. The book of Nahum is marked by strong imagery, a sense of suspense, and very vivid language with a lot of biting puns and deadly satire. He describes Nineveh as a bloody city full of lies and robbery. In the New Testament, the city that's most closely associated with the ministry of Jesus was a little place called Capernaum. The name Capernaum in the Hebrew language means the village of Nahum. This short book is quickly read and carries real impact in the way it calls us to righteous living. There's a passage from Nahum in chapter 1, verse 15 that's quoted by the Apostle Paul in the book of Romans. Listen for it as I read from Nahum chapter 1. I start with verse 12. "Thus says the Lord, though they are at full strength and many, they will be cut down and pass away. Though I have afflicted you, I will afflict you no more. And now I will break his yoke from off you and will burst your bonds apart. The Lord has given commandment about you. No more shall your name be perpetuated. From the house of your gods I will cut off the carved image and the metal image. I will make your grave, for you are vile. Behold, upon the mountains, the feet of him who brings good news, who publishes peace. Keep your feast, O Judah. Fulfill your vows, for never again shall the worthless pass through you. He is utterly cut off."